40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way of winning it.
Is that going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him.
Shawn Porter is fully confident that Terence Crawford will beat Canelo Alvarez. He believes Crawford's preparation is superior and that he will enter the ring with a strategy and execution unlike anything Canelo has faced. Porter feels Crawford's speed, accuracy, and focus will prove overwhelming for Canelo, leading to a historic win that could go down as one of the most one-sided performances in boxing history.
So if Crawford's going to win this fight, he'll surprise people in the fashion he does it in. Because a lot of people picking Crawford, they think foot speed and turn Canelo all night. And I'm like, nah, he's
born victor?
No, it's just he's definitely a lot better than the guys of the last couple years who have tried to beat Canelo that way, Billy Joe, Caleb. But even though he's better than them, it didn't that game plan, it didn't work. So it's not gonna look like that if Crawford pulls this off. It's gonna look different than that.
Roy Jones Jr., one of boxing's most respected figures, believes Terence Crawford is the more complete fighter in this matchup. In his view, Crawford has 6 potential ways to win, thanks to his adaptability, sharp ring IQ, and ability to adjust during the fight. Conversely, Jones sees only one clear path for Canelo Alvarez, maintaining constant pressure and landing his signature power punches. He noted that if Canelo isn't at his absolute best, Crawford's diverse tactics will dominate. The Hall of Famer leaned toward Crawford in his prediction, emphasizing that versatility often decides big fights, especially when skill differences are small but strategic differences are significant.
He does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way of winning it.
So you think Canelo has to kind of fight the perfect fight, right?
If he don't, he's in trouble. If he does, he should be all good.
Let's talk about the weight a little bit, right? Because we all know everything you accomplished as a heavyweight. What is Terence dealing with right now?
I don't think Terence dealing with much of anything because Terence did like I did as a heavyweight. He bulked up to the weight. He's been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. If you can deal with them in training, you can deal with them in the fight. So the weight should not even be an issue.
Do you think Terence is that one fighter where he could accomplish what a lot of people are thinking is not doable? Is he that one fighter who's just wired and has that different DNA?
He is, and not only to mention is he the guy that can, he's already done it. How many 2 or 3 division undisputed champions have we ever had besides Usyk is a 2 division undisputed champ? This dude is a 3 division undisputed champ already, and if he win this, he'll be a 4 division undisputed champ. We may never see that again. See, people don't like to celebrate the reality when it's happening. They'll wait till the person dead and they talk about it. This man is the only 3 division undisputed champion that boxing has ever had. And we're asking, are we wondering, can he step up to a task? Really? Do you know who we're talking about?
Comedian and boxing fan Aries Spears shared his perspective on the fight, drawing from years of boxing history where top Mexican champions faced elite African-American fighters. He noted that in many of these matchups, the black fighters often prevailed. Spears explained that their mix of sharp defense, accurate counterpunching, and adaptability usually gave them an edge over aggressive, pressure-based Mexican fighters. While acknowledging Canelo as one of the most complete and proven champions of this era, he framed this fight as part of a long tradition of style clashes where speed, defense, and ring intelligence often determine the outcome.
Notch Hispanic fighter, put him against a top-notch black fighter, the black dude usually edges him out. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Latino fighters, because look at the greats. De La Hoya, motherfucking
Roberto Duran,
Arguello, Felix Trinidad, what's my man's name? Chavez.
Huh?
So there have been legends, but 9 times out of 10, when the top Mexican legend takes on the top black legend, the black dude wins. Boxing and basketball is just something that niggas just, we got that wop wop that just, we edge you out. We edge you out. Duran lost to Hagler. He got knocked out so viciously by Hearns. Rumor is he's still waking up today. He lost he did the no mas with Leonard.
Yeah, no, I've been hanging out with Sugar Ray Leonard recently. We talked about that whole situation.
Lost to Floyd. He lost to Bernard. He lost to Sugar Shane Mosley. Usually the black fighters edge out the Latinos when it come down to it.
So basically you're saying Crawford's going to win because he's black.
I'm saying he's going to win because he's got skills. But that black component, that's that extra juice.
That's that extra juice? I mean, look.
It's like the Batmobile when it's going fast, and then he hits the nitro button, and the flame shoots out of the back of the car and takes it to another level. Black dudes have the...
Veteran boxing writer Dan Rafael highlighted Crawford's mindset, emphasizing that the unbeaten champion not only recognizes the threats Canelo poses but actually embraces them. Rafael noted that Crawford has built his career on confronting challenges head-on rather than avoiding them. Rather than being overwhelmed, he uses the magnitude of big fights to sharpen his focus and elevate his preparation. Rafael explained that this mental strength could be the decisive factor, as Crawford will enter the ring ready for any situation without being rattled by the moment.
I was really excited that Terence Crawford, when we were going through some of the historical things that could take place if he wins this fight, what they would mean. And at the end of that part of the conversation, he says, there's a lot riding on this fight. Like, he knows it. I don't think he feels pressure from it. I think he embraces that. But I like to hear that the fighter understands the magnitude of this fight and embraces that and realizes, like the general public that follows boxing or the media, that this is a bigger deal than your average fight, and that he is keenly aware of that. So I love that. He was very, very well spoken, and we discussed a lot of different topics, and I think people will get a kick out of it. It's on our podcast feed. It'll be up on the YouTube channel, and I hope people check it out.
Sticking with Crawford, because I've spoken to a few guys in his team, and there seems to be this mindset where they really, really believe they're going to win this fight, and obviously every fighter that goes into any fight will believe they win this fight, but do you get that impression that they're in no doubt that this goes their way, and it's a case of just turning up for a payday?
Oh, absolutely. Terence Crawford has never been the kind of fighter that's just looking to take a fight to get paid. Yeah, he's going to get paid a whole ton of money, and so is Canelo Alvarez. But, you know, if you follow Terence Crawford, if you watch the way he fights, watch the way he conducts himself, know him at all, even just a little bit, I can't claim to be like best buddies with him, but I got a pretty good feel for Crawford, having been around him so many times for all these fights he's had. There is 0.000% chance that he is coming into this fight with anything other than victory in mind. I mean, he really believes that this is his moment to shine and create a huge addition to what's already a tremendous boxing legacy. Besides just the money, I mean, Terence Crawford can take a fight against anybody, make a good amount of money. And so while
this fight is being framed as one of the toughest tests of Crawford's career and possibly the best opponent he has ever faced. For Canelo, the stakes are equally high. A loss to Crawford, the naturally smaller man moving up in weight, could leave a lasting mark on his otherwise legendary record. In boxing, legacy is everything, and being defeated by a smaller fighter at the peak of one's career often invites harsh criticism. Many believe that for Canelo, winning this bout is not just about pride but also about preserving his status among the sport's all-time greats.
And he gave a resounding yeah. A resounding yeah. He said it would massively tarnish Canelo's legacy. And some of the things that he said were just basically things that most of us know, just some register and make sure that other people know and others don't, right? But it would tarnish his legacy, and for the obvious reasons. One is, we know that the guy's older. Crawford's older. He's going to be 38 years old here, right? So he's an older fighter. He's an active fighter, right? And most of the time, these are things that, make people say that people are going to lose. Man, he's inactive. So he's pretty inactive, hasn't fought in a year, hasn't fought more than once.
Showbiz the Adult, a respected boxing analyst, fairly broke down the matchup, crediting both fighters. He highlighted Canelo's power, toughness, and relentless pressure, noting his skill in taking punches, setting traps, and countering effectively. At the same time, he emphasized Crawford's wrestling background, which enhanced his balance, positioning, and ability to read opponents, an athletic foundation and boxing IQ that could give Crawford a key advantage.
Canelo uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it. But he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel.
Former world champion Chris Algieri dismissed the idea that Canelo's recent performance against John Ryder reflects what he will deliver against Crawford. Algieri argued that Canelo has always stepped up when the stakes are highest. With his legacy on the line, he expects Canelo to enter this fight in top shape, sharper, stronger, and far more aggressive than in his past appearances. He stressed that fans and analysts should prepare to see a fully driven and thoroughly prepared version of Canelo, rather than the one shown in easier tune-up bouts.
Not a whole lot. Hasn't changed all that much. Listen, the Skull fight, could Canelo have done more? Absolutely. But is that going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him. And Marcus, you've been to a ton of Canelo fights. You know how that arena is. It is insane. Insane. In Vegas, I mean, it's deafening the entire fight. I remember when he fought BJ Saunders in Texas.
Oh my God.
And he's waving
Saunders
on 80,000 fans.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he is a gladiator. You know, I called Tim a warrior. Canelo's a gladiator. He is there for the adoration of the fans. I just think that he was a little too clinical in there that night. You know, he didn't have that same drive. He had a guy who just was not willing to engage. That's not going to be Crawford, and that's not going to be Canelo. They're going to be their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, wow, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing if a lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. And don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. But in terms of, how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw because there's a lot of confounding factors.
Shawn Porter, along with other boxing analysts, broke down the strategies both fighters might use. For Crawford, they believe the key is controlling distance, using angles, and preventing Canelo from setting his feet to unleash power. By constantly adjusting range and rhythm, Crawford could blunt Canelo's pressure and wear him down in the later rounds. The analysts also emphasized that this fight is as much mental as physical. The boxer who stays composed under pressure and sticks to the game plan over all 12 rounds will have the best chance to win.
Understands that he has to be smart. And I think with this one specifically, it ain't just about being smart. He knows he has to look like he's never looked before. Because again, if he doesn't and he beats Canelo, everybody's just gonna say, well, that's Crawford. So I think he knows that this is the performance of a lifetime and everything has to look right. He knows in order for it to look right, he can't just go out there and let the dog go. The dog is, he got to work his way up to the dog. Hey, show the clip real quick. I don't know if you showed it already, but this is the dog you're talking about right here, right? And so I pulled this clip right here. I seen it on social media this morning.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
And I pulled this clip, right? But this is Terence.
That's who he is.
He's not gonna swing on Canelo. He already know that part of the game. But what I asked you, were you ever trying to send a message to your opponents? He's letting you know, and it's no act. And that's what I really wanted to show, is that's not an act.
No.
That's not, there's 30 security guards.
It feels a little contrived.
You think so?
I think a lot of people feel it's a little like.
Well, I'm glad you used a big word that most of us don't know.
Hey, I don't fight as good as you guys. I had to learn some big words, right, to make up for that.
Don't look it up. Just ignore.
You
what
need big words to get out of fights. You know, you need big words to get out of fights. But you know, okay. So case in point, our guy Hafey, sitting right there, producer extraordinaire.
Fans and media are uniting in excitement over this fight, calling it one of the most intriguing matchups of the modern era. The clash of styles is compelling, with Canelo's power and relentless pressure facing Crawford's precision and adaptability. This fight is about more than titles. It could reshape the super middleweight landscape and influence pound-for-pound rankings. The buzz isn't just hype. Fighters, trainers, and experts are genuinely split on who will emerge victorious.
Oh my God, we just got some absolutely absurd boxing news breaking. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, targeted for December or January in the United States. Oh my God. I'm not even lying when I say this is literally one of the biggest combat sports fights of all time. And as I said earlier, it's targeted in December or January, so the build-up to this fight is going to be incredible. The fact that it's in the United States is insane. Saudi Arabia has low-key saved boxing. This is an absolutely mega fight. I was not expecting this at 1 in the afternoon, but here we are. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, targeted for December/January in the United States. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and click that follow button for more combat sports videos.
Boxing great Shane Mosley compared Crawford's style to the qualities needed to beat larger opponents. He argued that even a much-improved Errol Spence Jr. in a rematch would struggle against Crawford, highlighting his adaptability and ring IQ. Mosley pointed to Crawford's dominant performance over Spence, where he controlled distance, landed with precision, and neutralized a top-level champion. He believes these same skills give Crawford a real chance to upset Canelo despite moving up in weight. Meanwhile, some analysts and fans continue to question whether Canelo still possesses the explosive bursts that defined his prime.
You know, he's ready. Right when I seen that, I said Crawford wins. His movement, everything was, he wins. It doesn't matter if Spence was not strong or strong. He had more of the stuff to win that fight. And Crawford is a game player. He's gonna come. He coming to win. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I still say Crawford anyway, but I feel bad that we didn't see the true Spence fight Crawford. If that makes any sense.
At 35, after a long and demanding career, Canelo's work rate has noticeably slowed in recent fights, potentially giving Crawford a chance to dictate pace and rhythm. Still, critics caution that Canelo's natural size and strength remain a serious threat. Even Crawford's biggest supporters acknowledge that moving up in weight carries real risks, and a single defensive lapse could change the fight instantly. This matchup is a high-stakes test where skill clashes directly with size and power.
Well, you could argue Canelo got it tactically wrong tonight, because I just don't understand why he didn't use his jab more. I understand that he was conserving energy, he was patient, he was taking it slow. He doesn't lead off with the jab much anymore, Canelo. But really, the jab helps you bring your feet closer and bring them into range, so I don't understand why he wasn't jabbing more. He can't use that much extra energy for him to not be able to use his lead hand just a bit more in that fight. So that was a bit concerning, and you could maybe argue that he knows Crawford's ringside, he knows the fight is done for September. He maybe doesn't want to show him too much, or he wants to give him maybe false confidence or false hope. I don't think that's the case. I think you get rid of Skull if you can, and I'm just not sure Canelo is able to do it anymore at that level. Definitely good enough to beat a guy like Skull. Skull was clearly terrified of the power, but, you know, what does this mean for a fight like Crawford? Well, the first thing I noticed was, in the face-off, and I'm sure Crawford was wearing quite thick-soled trainers, as he quite often does, but the size difference didn't look that bad. It really did.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.